Thank you for the introduction. As mentioned, my name is Thomas Smith and I'm a technical specialist with D3 Technologies. I just want to thank everybody for taking time out of your day to attend our webinar, which is going to be based around the topic of control/electrical engineering and design. All right, so your webinar coordinator today introduced you to a theory called the consumption gap. Well, there's a book called The Complexity Avalanche, and which is shown here. In this book, it defines the consumption gap as the difference between the potential value a product could provide to an end user as compared to the value it's actually providing today. In the book, J.B. Wood identifies the curve that you are seeing here as the addition of features and complexity seen in technology products in the last several years. This technology not only relates to the topic we're discussing today of engineering software, but also into industries such as cell phones, automobiles, and even TVs. Now, the lower curve that you're looking at now shows the trend of the end user's ability to consume the features that are being offered without assistance. Well, this is where D3 can help to maximize the value you are receiving from the software you currently own today. It is D3's goal to help minimize the consumption gap by showing a few workflows and tools that we believe are currently being underutilized or not being utilized at all. The topics that we're going to be looking at today are going to be customizing AutoCAD Electrical to fit your environment, some workflow improvements for working with manufacturers' data, some improvements to the copying of design content, and then the better design communication between your mechanical and electrical engineering departments. All right, so diving into this, the first topic we have is going to be customizing AutoCAD Electrical to fit your environment. I picked the topic of project-related files. These are just one area that I felt could be quickly implemented without a lot of time behind them and aid in some efficiency and some consistency across the board. So we're going to be looking at 4 types of project-related files. There's several others that can be utilized. These are just the 4 that I felt like talking about today. The first one we're going to be looking at is the project line X values. This is a text file that we can create that will map our line values in our project descriptions to a more descriptive text, such as line 1 equals engineer, line 2 equals project, line 3 equals project location, etc. This will add some efficiency and definitely give every user the clarity of what exactly this attribute or this line value is going to do, whether that is going to populate an attribute and be utilized in a report. Then we're going to be taking a look at a family code mapping file that we can create. This file will allow us to define some override values for family code attributes when placing components. Say your company prefers to use the tag LITE when placing a light instead of the default LT that comes with the family code. We can create the mapping file in here, configure it appropriately, save it, and then we can have the system override that default text LT with your acronym of LITE for that component tag. Next, we're going to look at a default location codes project file or project related file that we can create. This is a .loc. Again, it's a text file that we can create. This one can be project based or default based in the project location. So in this text file, what we can do is we can map some commonly used location values that are typical across multiple projects and are used quite often. Putting in this document gives the users and designers quick access to these defaults, saving time and also eliminating typos by just typing them correctly one time. The last document we're going to look at is going to be the default component descriptions. This allows us again to help identify some consistency and some clarity and also aid in efficiency. But if there's going to be some typical component descriptions that are utilized across multiple projects and used often, then I would create this text file. It's going to be a wd_desc.wdd file, and in there you can just define those component descriptions and then save that, and the users can access those when placing components. All right, so let's dive into the software and take a look at this. So let me get electrical pulled up here. All right, so in here in electrical, I'm going to come over here to the project manager, and I'm going to right click on my active project and go to description. You can see I have the default here of line 1, line 2, line 3, etc. So what I'm going to do now is create a notepad file that is going to allow me to set the mapping that I want. So I'm going to open up a blank notepad, And in here, I simply come in and type the line value. So I'm going to do line 1 equals, and then what I want it to state. So I'll say this one will be project name, and then I'm going to do line 2 equals project location, line 3 equals engineer, and we'll do line 4 equals, I don't know, drawn by. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now this part, again, is going to be important. Where I am saving it is in my user profile, app data, roaming, Autodesk, my version, my release, language, and then in the support directory. You can also save this in the project location with the project name.wdl extension. I'm going to be doing a default one because I want this mapping to be across multiple projects. So when I first get into this Save As dialog box, I always change the Save As type to all files, and then I come down here and just give it the name default underscore WD title dot WDL. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. I'm going to close my notepad. I'm going to come back to electrical, right click on my project, and then all now the descriptions that I defined in my line X values are displayed here. I got my project name, my project location, engineer, drawn by, etc. Now I can clearly populate the attribute with the correct information, and then again add some efficiency between projects. Okay, the next thing that we're going to take a look at is going to be the family code mapping. So we're going to just use that example I mentioned earlier about the lights. So I'm going to come in here again, start a new notepad, and in here I'm going to type in the old code value, which is LT, and then I'm going to put in our company's policy of LITE. I'm going to go ahead and save this document. Now in this one, I'm going to go ahead and take a step further, and I'm going to come down into my user directory within my support folder under my user profile. I'm going to come in here, change the save as type to all files, and I'm going to name this one wd_fam.dat. Okay, so there I got my text file. I'm going to close that. I'm going to come over here just to make sure everything gets refreshed. I'm going to close, and I'm going to reopen my project. That gets open. All right, so now I'm back in my project. I'm going to come into my icon menu. I'm going to place a light. I'm going to come in here, pop it right here. All right, so you're going to see down here, the icon itself is displayed with the default location of LT for the family code attribute. If you look up here in the component tag dialog box without having to manually change anything, my override value is displayed of LITE155. Now I can just populate this with the rest of the information, and I'm good to go with my overrides. Again, that'll save time from having to manually change that or force any kind of fixed attribute. We can just have that mapping file control all the overrides per our company standards. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the location code file that I mentioned. I'm just going to come here again, start a blank notepad file, and in this one I'm just going to start typing some commonly used location codes. So there I got my operator station, my main control panel, we'll say junction box 1, junction box 2, etc. Okay, so now I'm going to do a save as. Now this one I'm actually going to put it in my project location. When I'm putting it in the project folder, it's going to be project based, and you want to give it the same name as your project. So this one I'm going to do is D3, the name of my project, and then the extension is going to be .loc. Go ahead and save that guy out and close my text file. Again, I'm going to come place. This time I'm going to place a push button here. Go ahead and drop it right here. And under here, I can come in to my location codes here under project. This project, it's going to show the ones that are being utilized under the project, but if I click this include external list, now I can see the ones I added: JB1, JB2, MCP, and operator station again. So you can utilize this document to help speed things up when using commonly referenced location codes, and also aid in some consistency. Okay, so the last thing we're going to look at is the component descriptions document, text file. So I'm going to fire up Notepad for the last time. All right, so in this file, I'm just going to define some commonly used component descriptions. I'm going to use the generic one of emerge. All right, there we go. All right, so there I did it emergency to space stop. Now the next line I'm going to do system, and then I'm going to use this vertical attribute or character, and I'm going to do system start. And that what that character there is going to do is that's going to tell the system that system is going to be on description line 1 and start will be on description line 2. And this one I'll do system off. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save as. And this time I'm going to go back to that user directory in my support location. So here I'm in my user file, changing this to all files, and I'm going to save this one as wd_desc dot wdd. Go ahead and save that. Okay, so there's my defaults. I'll close that. I'm going to come back. I'm going to place another push button here on rung 155. I'm going to come into my descriptions, hit my defaults. There's my emergency stop. I'll go ahead and place that one on this guy. You can see how it is all on line 1. If I do the other one, which I've specified that character there, I get the line items separated into line 1 and line 2. So again, just a way to quickly populate commonly used component descriptions and help reduce typos by referencing them correctly one time. All right. So jumping back to our presentation, the next thing we're going to talk about is the workflow improvements that we have when working with manufacturers' data. We're going to specifically look at the introduction of the catalog browser. This was first appeared in 2015, is continuing in 2016. I feel that this is a great way to work with manufacturers' content. I like the new workflow with the ability of us to specify the manufacturer's content on the front end and have the manufacturer's content dictate which schematic symbol will be placed into my schematic. And then we're also going to take a look at mapping the 2D attribute or 2D symbol and 3D symbol to that component tag so we can work with that same component in both electrical and Inventor. Okay, so switching back now to electrical. Now I'm going to come here to my schematic tab of the ribbon. On the schematic tab on my insert components panel, underneath the icon menu, if I drop that down, I got the catalog browser. Now mine appeared on the other screen, so let me drag it over here. In the manufacturer's catalog browser, if I come here, it is category based, so I can drop this down and select the component category or family type that I'm wanting to research. Here I'm just going to do push buttons. I could come in here, I'm going to take out my name and I'll put Alan Bradley. I'll go ahead and search by that character, and it gives me all the records that it found in the database. Now, any of these columns that are referenced here, these are the values that you can search by. You're able to change these by right-clicking on the header and selecting the ones that you would like to search by. You can also actually organize by that catalog or category by just selecting this type reference number, and then it'll be filtered based upon the greatest to lowest, etc. All right, so now I'm going to take a look at the manufacturer. Go back to my name here. I'm going to see that if I come to my name, there's no manufacturer's content under that. So what we're going to look at now is how to get that content into the database. So in the new catalog browser, I can come over here to this pencil. I go into the edit mode. It's going to turn into a yellowish background in the cells. So it has much more of an Excel feel to it, and I find it very easy to work with. So in edit mode, I'm just going to come in here and populate my catalog number. I'll do something simple here. Manufacturer is my name. This is just going to be a push button. Style 30 millimeter. Go ahead and do one. Open one, normally close. All right, and so there I define some attributes. I'm going to come down here and I want to show you these new columns in the database, the 2D symbol, or symbol 2D and symbol 3D. These control the mapping for each category. So in here, I'm going to come in for the 2D block, and here I can define the block name that I want to reference in my library. If I don't know it, I can go to the icon menu and select it out of the icon menu. So here I'm just going to select the horizontal normally open push button. Go ahead and select OK, and that block reference is now identified. I'm going to go ahead and map a 3D symbol as well, so we can use that in Inventor. Again, I can just come in here and select it. I'm going to come in here to my project location and select my mapping. All right. So now I'm going to come back. I got everything entered that I want. All I have to do to add this into the database is check this or click this check mark, and then it's going to go ahead and push that information up to the database. Now that it is in the database, I can now come to my catalog browser. I can select the entry that I want. Because of that mapping I defined, I can come right onto this palette right here and select the schematic symbol that is mapped to this catalog number. So I can just click that, come out to my schematic, and then place that component, put in my information. But as you can see, the manufacturer's content is pre-populated, so saving me the time that the workflow that I used to have to do, which is place the component, edit component, look up, and then assign the catalog data. So I find this much easier to work with once you get this mapping set up. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to do is talk about that 3D mapping that I just set up. So let me go ahead and switch over here to Inventor. All right, so here I am in Inventor. What I'm going to come over here and do is, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down on the Assemble tab under Place and access the Electrical Catalog Browser. Inside of Inventor, you're going to see that it is very similar to the catalog browser that we saw in Electrical. In fact, they share, or Inventor now has access to that Electrical catalog database. So here, if I drop down the categories, I can filter, my part number, my components by their family type, just the same as I could in Electrical. So I'm going to come here back to my push buttons, and here I'm going to search for my name, manufacturer, my name. It's going to come up with that component that I added back in Electrical. Just like I did in Electrical, if I select the component, because I mapped that 3D symbol into the database, now I can quickly grab this model just by clicking this icon here. So I'll go ahead and click the icon. Now I can place that into my assembly, and then I can continue to constrain it at this time. So that is how those databases work between the Electrical and Inventor software with those new 2D to 3D columns. All right, so what we're going to take a look at now is the copying of design content. In 2015, they also added the circuit clipboard panel to the schematic tab, and so it gives us the ability to cut and copy circuits from one drawing to a different drawing within our project. So it puts them out on the clipboard per se, so that we can have access to those in other places. All right, so let me go ahead and switch back here to Electrical. I'm actually going to close my catalog browser for this example. I'm going to come over here to this control drawing. So in this example, I have this circuit up here at the top, and I want to just reuse that in another place. So here on the schematic tab, circuit clipboard panel, I have the copy clip command. So I'm going to initiate the copy clip. The first thing I need to do, if you look at the command line, is to specify base point. So I'm going to locate my base point, and then I need to select the components to contain within the copy command. So I just select all the components I need. I'm going to right click and put those up on the clipboard. So now I'm going to go over to my drawing. I want to relocate those in, and I just initiate the paste command on the circuit clipboard panel. Hit paste. Now I get the circuit scale dialog boxes that I'm used to seeing when using the place user circuit or safe circuit. Anyways, I have the options of moving lines to wires, keeping fixed wire numbers, keeping source arrows, updating text layers, and do not blank out or print contacts. So I'm just going to accept the defaults and hit OK. It puts it on my cursor based upon the insertion or base point that I specified earlier. I'm just going to locate this where it needs to be placed. Go ahead and initiate the command. You can see all the components have updated for their new location. Their tags have been updated accordingly, and any cross-referencing has been updated as well. So that was the copy clip. You also have the cut if you wanted to relocate the circuit. Here again, I just specify a base point and then select my components. This time when I initiate it, it removes the components. I'm going to go ahead and hit no. I must not have selected that guy, but now I could hit initiate the paste anywhere in my drawing again and relocate that circuit. Okay, so the last thing that we are going to talk about today, back to my example, is going to be the new location view tab that is found on the project manager. We're just going to go over the interface and talk about the details and connections options that are available within this new tab. All right, so I'm going to come back over here again to my electrical software. I'm in here in the project manager. Just below the projects tab, if I look down, there's going to be the location view tab. I'm going to go ahead and click on that to activate the location view tab. Here I can expand this node and I can see all the defined location codes for this project. If I expand cabinet, here I can see all the components that were specified with the cabinet location code attribute. So here's CR207. If I hover my cursor over that icon, I can get some metadata regarding this component, such as tag, manufacturer's information, any description information that's assigned to it. I can even right-click on the component and initiate a surf command that I can do from here. So once that's done, like I said, that it just initiates the normal serve command. I can also expand a component, and then I can see any other connection types that are available. If I come up here to the top toolbar area of the location view tab, I can initiate the details and connections section. Here, if I select on a component, I can get more information regarding that component, such as manufacturer's information, terminal scripts, item numbers. I can even come over to the connections tab within this area, and I can see wire number information, location codes from component to component, pin values, etc. All right, so that is the new location view tab that I was mentioning earlier. Now I want to talk about this electrical link setup that I have here. So I'm going to first go ahead and unlink this project so that there is no ties back to any previous work that I've done. I'm going to close this project, or that details and connections. So now I'm going to come here to a link setup, and I'm going to act like I'm creating one for the first time. So I'm going to go ahead and create this, and I'm going to call this one. I'll go ahead and select my location. So I'm just going to go here, top level, and go ahead and create that. It says, congratulations, my linking file has now been created. Let me go ahead and close, make sure everything is looking good here, which it is. And I'm going to go ahead and close this dialog box as well. I'm going to come in here to the settings. In the settings dialog box, I can talk about how the sync is going to be initiated between the two softwares. Is it going to sync every 15 minutes? And I can also initiate a sync on every save. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm just going to go ahead and save that. I'm going to come back over here to Inventor. Let me go ahead and close this browser for now. So there I have the electromechanical tab, and in electrical, I also have that electromechanical tab here in Inventor as well. So if I go here, I can initiate the link setup. Because I already created a linking file, I can come here now and link to an electromechanical file. I'm going to come out here to my desktop. There is, let's see, that's not the one I want. I need to go into. Sorry, I'm blind right now. There it is. And there is my linking file. I'll go ahead and grab that. The save copy as. We're going to go do close one. Okay. All right, so here's all my linking information saying that it is tied together. I'm going to go ahead and save this guy. So, all right, so we save this guy. I'm going to go to my location view tab. So you're going to see I now have a location view tab in Inventor. If I expand this information, I have the same location code because it's actually tied to the project that I was just working in electrical. I can come into this and I can see the various components that are available within that area. I can right click from this and I can insert from a catalog browser or assign to an existing component. So if I hit this, it's going to open up the catalog browser. Here I can search for a block if I had something by browsing out and just finding the part that I wanted to use. I can also, as you saw, if there's an existing part in here, let me go to a push button. I'm going to go here to the operator station. I got PB159. I can right click, go ahead and assign to an existing component within my assembly. So now that connection has been made. And again, I can just save that and have that initiate back in or update back into the electrical software as well. Okay, so I just want to come back over here one last time and let's see. All right, so that is everything I wanted to cover today. I really appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for taking the opportunity. If you have any questions, please let the webinar coordinator know, and we will get those handled. Thank you, and have a great day.